There are mutants in our fruit bowls, lurking amongst the apples and pears are bizarre hybrid freaks so altered from their original form that they can't even reproduce without human intervention. And I'm not talking about genetically modified organisms here, I'm talking about bananas. It's easy to see the bizarreness of bananas when we compare them to their wild cousins. Who can spot the difference between common bananas and these wild bananas? Yeah?
Obviously the seeds.
Yep. Wild bananas have these great big hard seeds that take up about 20% of the fruit, which is one reason that humans typically don't eat them. But those seeds mean that wild bananas don't need any help from humans. It's the seedless bananas that need us. The only way for a seedless banana to reproduce is for a human to cut off the suckers that grow around the base of the stem and replant them so that they grow into new plants. However, there is a fundamental difference between a plant grown from a seed and a plant grown from a sucker. When you grow a plant from a seed, the end result is a child. Its DNA is a blend of the two parent plants that created it. When you grow a plant from a sucker, you get a clone, an exact genetic duplicate of the original plant. And from the point of view of commercial banana growers, that seemed like a good thing. When all your plants are identical clones, you can be confident that this crop of bananas will be exactly the same as the previous crop of bananas. You've got a consistent product that's easy to sell. However, that consistency comes at a terrible price, because what affects one plant affects them all in exactly the same way. "80% of the world's bananas come from these plantations in the Caribbean, Central and Southern America. And should the wrong disease find its way into these plantations, then in as little as 20 years, we could be facing Bananageddon. The end of the banana as we know it. And if that sounds far-fetched or like scaremongering, then bear in mind, it's already happened. Who here's eaten banana-flavoured sweets? How would you describe the flavour of banana sweets?
Not banana.
Yeah. Most people think they taste pretty fake and artificial. Well, the funny thing is, the chemical that gives them that flavour is isoamyl acetate, and despite having a scary sounding name, that is a completely natural chemical that you find in bananas. The fact is, those banana sweets do taste of bananas. They just don't taste of these bananas. These are Cavendish bananas, and unless you've spent time in Asia, there is a very good chance these are the only bananas you have ever eaten. Head down to Tesco and you'll find about 14 different varieties of apple, but only one banana. For the last 60 years, Cavendish has been king of the bananas. But if you were buying bananas in the 1950s or earlier, you wouldn't have seen a Cavendish on the shelf. Back then, the banana crown belonged to the Gros Michel. Affectionately known as Big Mike, Gros Michel bananas were considered to be the superior to the Cavendish in almost every way, including taste. Gros Michel bananas are sweeter than Cavendish. They also have a higher proportion of isoamyl acetate than Cavendish. In short, they taste kind of like banana sweets. But you won't find Gros Michel on a Western supermarket shelf anymore, because in the 1930s, a fungal wilt called Panama disease found its way into those American banana plantations. It was devastating. All attempts to control it failed. Plantations turned from green to black. By the late 1950s, the commercial banana growers were forced to give up on Gros Michel. They switched over to planting the Panama disease-resistant Cavendish and launched a massive advertising campaign to sell the American public on the new banana. For the last 60 years, Cavendish has been a success, but what made Gros Michel so vulnerable also applies to the Cavendish. In the 1990s, a new strain of Panama disease had made its first appearance, one that Cavendish bananas are not resistant to. It's already wiped out banana plantations in China. It's spreading across Southeast Asia. It's made it as far as Australia. As yet, biosecurity tactics have prevented it reaching those American plantations, but it's just a matter of time before that fails. And when it does, we are facing a second Bananageddon, and Cavendish will go the same way as the Gros Michel. With that in mind, banana scientists around the world are on the case, trying to create the new banana. Trouble is, they've got two criteria that they need to meet. First of all, obviously, it's got to be resistant to both strains of Panama disease and a variety of other common banana diseases. But number two, it's got to taste like a banana. And if that seems obvious, bear in mind that now and then when you go to Tesco, you can get a different type of banana. These plantains, or cooking bananas, are just as much a banana as these Cavendish, just as seedless, as we can see. But they don't taste of bananas. I bought some to try them out, and to me they pretty much tasted of potatoes. Also, now and then supermarkets will get these in, the Latundan banana. These dinky little bananas are also known as apple bananas. You can guess what they taste like. As yet, there is no new banana. And so, fellow Toastmasters, enjoy your Cavendish bananas while you've got the chance, because nobody knows how long that's going to be. Any questions?
Can I have a banana?
I've got 6, go ahead.
So is there only one type density? You said that there's Cavendish banana, but so do they all originate from the same plant? If we
Yeah, there is one original Cavendish banana that they've all been cloned from.
Not a question, well, perhaps a question. I'd heard that they suddenly realised they hadn't saved any seeds, and so the scientists had to get mounds and tons of bananas and rip them apart just to find a few seeds so that they could save it.
Yes, on very rare occasions these bananas will actually grow a fertile seed, but you need to get absolutely tons of bananas and pulp and sieve them to try and get a single seed. And that's what the banana scientists are currently doing to try and make the new banana.
So does that mean if you get a seed, you can sell it?
If you can get it to grow into a plant, you probably can.
Business idea.
Yeah, you can get millions probably. But then how many bananas do you need to buy to get one seed?
The bananas that grow on Cyprus, what kind are they? Because I know that.
Ones on Cyprus I don't know about, so that didn't come up in my research. So there are hundreds, possibly thousands of different varieties of bananas, just very few that are actually worth eating. Guy?
I'm from Madeira, Portugal, and we have lots of bananas there. I haven't seen them here in the UK, but they're slightly different. I'm not sure which type of bananas it is, but they're a bit smaller, similar to this one actually.
So it could be these ones, and there's a related variety called a bananito. So it could also be those ones. Any more questions? In that case, I shall take my bananas and hand back to Lee.